It's a big deal. They're relevant because David Griffin put together a real roster. It's not just a bunch of helpers with Zion, but we all want to see Zion Williamson. It's a big deal to me. I'm thinking about two people who were chosen first overall. All right, and we saw how great they could be, but far too briefly. Bill Walton and all of the injuries he had. He hit that zenith once with Portland and then a little bit as a sixth man with the Celtics in 1986 with Bird, McHale, and Parrish. But he couldn't sustain it because of the injuries. And for me, which is much closer to home, Derrick Rose, who we saw how wondrous this kid could be in his third year in the league at 21 years old. He gets to the conference final, and you think you're going to see that and beyond for the next 8 or 9 years, and you don't get to see it because of the various knee injuries. And so this is a big deal to me, something that has to be taken seriously right off the bat. I'm glad they are so proactive with this, Stephen, in New Orleans. But this is a big deal for the league not to, as many great stars as are playing in LA versus LA and all those other themes, people want to see Zion Williamson.
This is a very big deal. Now, look, he hasn't played in the NBA yet, right? So it's not like the NBA has something taken away that we already know. And the league is bigger than any one guy, even LeBron James, right? It's bigger than any one guy. But this is a huge hit. And this is not like some musician who comes along and then influences others, right? Or a rapper or an inventor. And now, like, you can build on what they just did and take what they did and take it to the next step. This is a freak. This is a guy who you can't just hope that the next guy can do Zion Williamson, or if Zion goes down, well, there'll be other stars. That's true. But they won't be Zion Williamson. Guys like this aren't growing on trees. They come along once in a generation physically. I'm not saying he'll be the greatest player in the world, but physically he's doing things that we haven't seen at his size. And that's the problem. Derrick Rose, I think, is the best comp. Derrick Rose's engine was too big for the frame. And he's wiry strong, but it was just like the speed, the stopping and starting. When you saw it, it didn't look like anyone else. Not even Westbrook, who's like all out all the time. There was something different to the eye about Derrick Rose, and his frame couldn't handle it. The fast twitchies were too much. And Zion, it was the exact same question. The only fear we had was at his size, with that kind of torque and everything, can his body hold up? The sneaker blew up in college. I mean, the equipment couldn't take it. Then the knee goes, and now we're like, okay, fine. No, already he's going to miss 6 weeks. Guys, so this whole first season, I push his rookie season in my own mind, what I can see he really will do, to next year. Because if I'm the Pelicans, I'm going to be super careful with this guy. Don't forget, Blake missed what's supposed to be his rookie season, right? And this dude is Blake 2.0 at least.
It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. Let me explain, Mike Wilbon, Max Kellerman. Let me tell y'all something. We're opening the season where? We in L.A. We in La La. We just finished having a conversation. We talk about the king of L.A. You talk about the king of the NBA. What we talk about? L.A. Okay. When you brought up your contenders, the people that could sneak up in and just ruin my chances of being in L.A. in June. Okay. Who'd you bring up? You brought up Utah. You brought up Portland.
Denver.
I brought up Houston. You brought up Denver. Did we mention New Orleans? No. You know why? Because they're not that relevant yet. Now, I do understand what we're saying about Zion in all seriousness. Meniscus tear, 6 to 8 weeks. I like the fact that they caught it early, that it wasn't something that progressed, that developed or whatever. So understand that I'm operating under the assumption that he'll be out for the 6 to 8 weeks, and after that he'll be good. All right, because they'll use that time.
But you think it's only a one-time deal, Stephen? Isn't there some worry on that level?
Well, here's where the worry is.
It's the same knee from the sneaker.
Yeah, but the thing is that before the sneaker, it wasn't an issue. So now we have to start asking questions about what was actually done to get him right while he was at Duke. And I'm not casting any aspersions on Duke or anything like that, but you're going for a national championship, and we were all sitting there saying, if he's 100%, he should play. You were like, if he's not, don't play, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to bring into consideration the fact that you were vying for a national championship, and then after that, you were trying to be the #1 overall pick in the draft, and then after that, you had Summer League, and you wanted to show your face, but they had you doing all of this stuff. So we got to wonder whether or not you were truly, truly taking care of yourself. And then now preseason comes, and you get hurt again. So you get to sit down for 6 to 8 weeks, and we find ourselves in a situation where one could assume, all right, he's going to be all right. When we talk about the New Orleans Pelicans, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. No, I understand they could play because we all know how I feel about Drew Holiday. But let's be very, very clear. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. I know they could play, but they were here. Do you miss them? No. Thank you. So the point is, you don't miss them.
But it's not about the Pelicans. It's about
Zion. It's about Zion.
It's about Zion.
And all I'm saying is this. Unless you're going to tell me that the brother is going to be hurt, what I'm saying to you is we wanted to see him open tonight. We look forward to seeing him on SportsCenter for a few highlights. But outside of that, it ain't really about the Pelicans.
I want to know as a Lakers fan, when we trade for Zion in the 2026-2027 season, what are we getting? Are we getting the real Zion Williamson or a guy you have to worry about with load management?
Before the Chicago Bulls could contend and before they were relevant, did you not like watching Michael Jordan?
I thought before?
Before the Bulls were contenders.
Michael Jordan was something
Michael
spectacular.
Jordan, exactly.
Right.
You want to see Zion Williamson from night one, which we were hoping is now. I don't want to miss him for 6 to 8 weeks, but Stephen, again, the worry is not the 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
When you look, first of all, you know these bodies this size at 284 pounds, Wilt weighed 275 pounds in his prime. Big men that huge, with fast twitches we talk about, they moved in small spaces. They were not out cutting and stopping and starting with that kind of torque on their joints, on their knees and ankles. This is new. Space and pace is great. Except that are we talking about, and I worry about this with Jokic and other guys as they play out on the perimeter at that size, we're seeing something we've never seen before. Are their bodies equipped to take
and there's that
technology is also new.
This new school of basketball.
Right. And why is Zion different from all the others, right? There's something different about this to me, and I think you just hit on it, Michael. Blake Griffin, Sean Kemp, I think about high flyers who are really good. Zion feels like he has a chance to be better than those guys.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.